Ever since the first IVF baby Louis Brown was born, there have been so many advancements in this field of ART, also known as Assisted Reproductive Technologies, and India was no different. We have seen so many advancements not only in the number of cycles we have been performing here, but also in the kind of advancements we have been doing in terms of the technology. Hundreds of clinics are being established all over India because there is a huge demand for infertility treatment. The only challenge was there was no government body so far to regulate all of these clinics. Thanks to the new ART bill which is being passed, we do have certain guidelines which we have to follow through. But yes, this is definitely a step in the right direction, and definitely a lot more changes have to be done in the bill to make sure it's full-fledged and it's right for our Indian people. What is ART? ART is Assisted Reproductive Technologies, which include procedures like IVF, also known as the in vitro fertilization, ICSI, which is the intracytoplasmic sperm injection, and also gamete donation. Gametes are nothing but the sperm and the egg. Now, according to the Act, these services can be provided only by ART clinics and as well as ART banks. And these ART clinics and banks should be registered under the National Registry of Banks and Clinics of India, and that is like a complete database of all the ART clinics and all the ART banks throughout India. Now, this is a very good sign because this means that all of these ART clinics and banks should adhere to certain standards in terms of manpower, infrastructure, and diagnostic facilities. And once registered, the clinic will be valid for the next 5 years, after which they have to go for a renewal. This way, we can be certain that all the clinics and the ART banks are following the standard norms all over India. Now, there's a small confusion out here. We do not know if the ART banks and the ART clinics can run from the same center or not, because it also states that ART banks are responsible for the cryopreservation of the gametes, which are the oocytes and the sperm, and they are also responsible for the screening, collection, and the storage. Any man who wants to be a sperm donor is eligible to donate if he is between the ages of 21 to 55. And women can only donate if they are between the ages of 23 to 25, and they should already have been married with a single child who is at least 3 years of age. Women can also donate only once in their lifetime, and they can only donate up to 7 eggs, which means if in case after we stimulate her and we get more number of oocytes, if in case we have 20 to 30, the rest of them need to be discarded and only 7 of them can be stored. And these 7 oocytes cannot be shared, which means only a single couple are eligible to use all of these 7 oocytes. I have a concern in this particular area because a woman who is between 23 to 25 who already has a child will have a very good ovarian reserve, and even a mild stimulation for this woman will give us a yield of more than 7 follicles. So this means that there will be a lot of oocyte wastage, which could have definitely been helpful for other couples who are not able to afford this treatment. So maybe a provision can be made so that these excessive oocytes do not go for a waste, and it can be used by other couples as well who would want to go ahead for treatment at a subsidized rate. And the other issue I have is that 7 oocytes have to be used by a single couple alone, which means that if the couple has become pregnant with a child and they don't want to have further pregnancy, at that point of time the rest of the follicles which are stored will also go for a waste. A provision should be made so that if a patient decides to discard her follicles, they should be used by other couples who are in need for donor oocytes. The bill also states that the ART procedure should be carried out only after getting the informed consent from both the donor as well as the couple who are obtaining these donor oocytes. The bill also states that the couple who are undergoing ART treatment should provide some kind of insurance to the donors if in case there's any loss, damage, or death to the particular donor. I think this bit is absolutely fine. The only challenge is that they have really not mentioned about what exactly is the amount which has to be provided for this insurance. The bill also does not mention about what exactly might be the incentive for a woman to donate her eggs. The bill also strictly says that the donor should not be provided by any third party and that the donor should approach the clinics directly. The bill also prohibits any ART clinic to predetermine the sex of the child before going ahead and implanting the embryo inside the uterus. and it also requires that all the embryos undergo PGT, also known as the pre-implantation genetic testing, before the implantation. There might be a little bit of concern in this particular step as well, because performing a PGT for all embryos is absolutely not required, especially if they look morphologically normal. Because this PGT is going to add up so much cost for the patients for no particular reason at all. I have previously made a video about PGT, and if you are really interested to know more about that, do click the link that pops out here. In my opinion, it is highly impractical to do pre-implantation genetic testing for all the embryos, but let's see how it goes. The bill also states that the donor does not have any parental rights over the child who's born through ART, and at the same time that the child who's born from this ART to the commissioning couple will be treated as a biological child, and this child who is born of ART will have the same rights and privileges of a biological child if the couple has another one after that. There will be a national and a state level board to regulate these ART services, and the activities of these board members would be on advising the central government on ART related policy matters, for reviewing and monitoring the implementation of the bill, to formulating the code of conduct and standards of ART clinics and banks, and also to oversee various bodies to be constituted under the bill. The bill also shows that certain offences should be taken into consideration. For example, if the abandoning or the exploitation of children who are born through ART is there, this board will handle that as well. Selling, purchasing, trading, or importing of human embryos and gametes is also prohibited, and using intermediates to obtain donors. I've already mentioned this to you, that if you do that as well, it is a punishable offense. Exploiting, commissioning couples, women, or the gamete donors in any form, and also transferring the human embryos into a male or an animal, and is also prohibited according to this act. These offences will be punishable with a fine between 5 to 10 lakh rupees for the first offence, and for subsequent contraventions, these offences will be punishable with imprisonment for a term between 8 to 12 years and a fine between 10 to 20 lakhs. And no court will take cognizance of offence under the bill unless it is reported by a national or a state level authority. The other challenge with this bill is that it does not include the LGBTQ plus community, and can only be offered to the married heterosexual couple. And at the same time, it also does not prohibit any foreigners from availing these services. And this is in violation of Article 14, which is the right to equality. The bill does not also clarify about what happens if the donor refuses to give her follicles on the day of egg collection. So a little bit more clarity is also required in that front. Anyway, that's it for my video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching so far, and let me know what you guys think about the ERT bill. Do you think that there are a few changes which have to be done? Do let me know in the comments down below, and until the next one, guys, see you and have a great day.